We're building a global internet platform company to change the way the entire financial and economic system works. And so, very quickly, we've been here for a number of days really talking about the three pillars of our strategy, the criticality of the continued scaling and growth in the use cases of USDC as the preeminent regulated stablecoin network in the world, about completely new platforms that we're building like Arc and our agentic stack to transform the very nature of the way economic activity moves on-chain and moves into this world, and this significant growth in payments and real-world payments that are building on this infrastructure. So that's what we've been here talking about. The number of major institutions integrating this and launching with this is growing. Our transaction volumes that happen with USDC have been hitting all-time highs. The number of major mainstream apps like Meta, Cash App, and others around the world that are implementing and integrating USDC continues to grow. So we look at traction institutionally, traction internationally. We look at traction in terms of use cases. And all of those things have to be taken into consideration. There are going to be these cyclical moments, and that is absolutely fine. We are obviously a very long-term focused company, and I think related to this is when people think about, and as we think about the TAM on this, what you have to believe is that this new form of money and this new form of economic infrastructure is in fact the economic infrastructure and the model for money for the future of the digital economy. And that will absorb greater and greater portions of that. Global M2 electronic money is $120 trillion, and all the apps and utilities and services and markets that actually move that around themselves are multiple hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue. That's the opportunity space in front of Circle, so you have to take the long view. They have very strong network effects. Every application, every utility that plugs into our stablecoin network increases the network effects of that. The 60 million active users of Cash App that can now send and receive USDC just added a node of 60 million active users to the USDC stablecoin network. When Meta, with an enormous base of creators and others, is choosing USDC to make value available to users around the world, we're adding to the network. Those network effects are strong. And so when a developer decides, what am I going to implement? What am I going to integrate? They almost don't have a choice other than using USDC. We also gain that competitive advantage in those network effects through liquidity network effects. USDC of regulated digital dollars is the most liquid digital dollar in the world. In the first quarter, we minted and redeemed almost $150 billion of USDC. We have pipes and infrastructure all around the world to make that possible. And so that means that an enterprise, a bank, a financial institution, a fintech, a neobank, a startup knows wherever they are in the world, in 185 countries, that they can access that digital dollar dial tone. And then obviously we built out an infrastructure that's regulated around the world. We've built something over many years working with leading central banks, leading regulators to ensure that this is a fungible digital dollar that works across these markets. So all those things show up in the numbers. While at the same time, you look at what really counts, which is, are these being used? And you look at the data of the $22 trillion of on-chain transactions with dollar stablecoins. The significant majority was USDC, the second was USDT, and the third was all these other stablecoins, and all of their transaction volume rounded to zero. They're not being used. So we believe strongly in our competitive moats, but I also would say that the model itself is going to shift, where a lot of times people think agentic commerce, they think, hey, I have an agent, it's going to go buy my thing on, buy my groceries or book me a car or that kind of stuff. And that may well be true. The much more interesting problem, in my view, and a thing that we're very focused on, is that agents become economic actors. agents as a service becomes a fundamental business model. There was software as a service. Now there's agents as a service. And you're going to see an explosion of entrepreneurs building agents as a service. You're going to see a lot of existing software utility companies recomposing themselves as agents as a service. And agents as a service and the monetization model, effectively, an agent is a worker. And that worker can be highly specialized. And that worker can do incredible work and can sell its services on a consumptive basis. And you need an economic environment to do that. And an economic OS like Arc, the developer platforms we're building on Agent Stack, the primitives we're providing to do this safely with guardrails, all of these things are critical. So this is a big investment. And we don't provide specific guidance on, well, how much revenue, or et cetera, but we view this as a major primary driver going into the launch of Arc and obviously beyond into all of the digital asset infrastructure that we operate. The other thing is interoperability. What we've done with Arc is we've created a model where USDC can flow seamlessly to and from other networks. So if people have wallets on Base or wallets on Solana or wallets on the Robinhood blockchain or other things that might come along, your product will work with that. And that your users can interact with that. In fact, the key is that the crypto needs to disappear. It needs to disappear. People don't care if they're using a blockchain network and they don't want to know what these things are. If you haven't looked, the way that Cash App implements USDC is really beautiful. It actually looks a lot like what we did with Circle'Pay a long time ago. But basically, you just have dollars and you spend them directly to a wallet, and USDC is just what happens underneath. And that's really powerful as well. I think there's a few key pieces here. Circle is building and has built a broad-based internet platform business. We are building at the operating system level, at the fundamental infrastructure level. We are building at the protocol level with stablecoin protocols, interoperability protocols. We are building a diverse digital assets business. USDC is the largest regulated digital dollar. We operate the largest regulated digital euro. We operate the largest regulated tokenized money market fund. We're just launching CRBTC, an on-chain version of Bitcoin. We will look at additional digital assets that we can launch. We have a stablecoin network. This is not just a stablecoin. We have a stablecoin network with tremendous moats, liquidity, distribution, and network effects. We have developer platforms that activate on this. And we have a rapidly growing payments network, which is building products for financial institutions. A few things here. I think the first is just to ground people in this. When you look at what our stablecoin network today is, it is one of the world's largest payment systems, in a sense, handling trillions of dollars of transactions. It is actually a free public utility on the internet. USDC, the protocols on these blockchain networks, are interoperability protocols. We have created a free public utility for storing and moving dollars, and storing and moving dollars at virtually no cost. Tens of thousands of companies build on that and integrate that. They don't have to call us. They don't have to do a deal with us. They can permissionlessly build. That's never existed before. And so we have built an incredibly widely adopted payment system that doesn't extract a toll on that. And that's incredibly valuable. People who want to use money, and now the programmability of that, the ability to compose with that, the ability to integrate AI with that is unleashing a completely new generation of application utility for money. And that's essentially this incredible system that we've built.